This screencast will show you how to use Plotly to make a bar chart, and this one's pretty simple and pretty quick. So you can see up here that I've already uploaded my data. It's maple syrup production in 5 states in New England for 2016. So I come over here to chart type, and I click on this rectangle, and then come over here and select bar chart. My y-axis will be maple syrup production, and my x-axis is state. Now you can see that those are both labeled here. And you can see that the Connecticut bar is very small. Things you can do to help make the graph a little easier to read. You can come over to Style and click on Layout. And up here in the Canvas section, you could select Custom. And this gives you the width and the height of the graph. And you can stretch the bars a little by changing the height. So I'll just put in 1,000 pixels and hit Return. That made my bars just a little bit taller, perhaps a little easier to read. But if I come over here to Axes, and I click on Lines, and I select Y, I can show my Y-axis. It's already dark. And I can show my horizontal grid lines. They're shown, but I can darken them by changing the color. That helps make my graph a little bit easier to read. But the distance between 0 and 500 is still a little bit tricky. So if I close lines and come over here to tick labels for the y-axis, I can increase my number of labels by hitting the up arrow until I see the number of divisions that I like. That will help make this easier to read. And 100 looks pretty good. So if I had 22 labels, I can read by hundreds. That makes it pretty easy to read. Last thing I'll suggest that might help make this easier to read is to come back over here in the Style menu and go to Traces. And down here, values shown on hover. I don't need to see the x-axis value. That's just the state. It's easy to read the bar. They're well labeled. But if I leave the y value checked, then when I hover over Connecticut, that number 19 appears, and that means that there are 19,000 gallons of maple syrup produced in Connecticut in 2016, and that makes it easier instead of trying to read the y-axis over here. My graph needs a title, and then I click on Save. I need to title my plot. I already titled my data file earlier, so I'm going to title my plot something slightly different. I will make these both public. Click Save. And now I can come back to these in my account anytime I like. And that's all there is to it.